again, we had a wonderful retreat, and beautiful, and in many ways. And I'm so grateful and thankful to you all, and as well as blessings of all great beings, great masters, great teachers. Their blessings and their continued inspiration and aspiration. We had quite good practice and explored the teachings of the according our capabilities. I think we did quite good. I'm happy and thank very much for all that opportunities and be facilitated of these beautiful things. Now, again, to practice, we should remember our home, sweet home, the best, which is our very foundation of the practices and the motivation. And mind, that is mind. And we are going to think of about the mind. We're strengthening, we're glorifying the beautiful motivations of Vasanas motivation as well as purity motivations of the Vajrayana teachings. With that beautiful foundation and home sweet home, we are going to look back at the treasures that what we revealed and what we discussed. As great Master Khenpo Tsewang Rinpoche often says, looking back to what we went through is always important. It is in the Buddha's teaching always said, lines gates. Lines gates. You're looking back where you come from, where you are now, and what will be our vision, goal. In that context, again, I'm going to look, and I'm going to ask you to look back where we came. For example, 2 weeks ago until now, up to now. And what we came, of course, is all teaching of the Buddha. But we started with the 4 renunciation thoughts. And that is renunciation of the ego clingings, renunciation of the attachment, and a renunciation of the negative habitual pattern. That's something that which is not really helping us at all. Yet it is always as part of our package. We carry that heavy luggage all the time. Even we don't have the strength, even we don't have the capabilities to handle, yet we are dragging them. And we should renounce them. That is what the renunciation means. And all that beautiful aspect of the Buddha highlight of that renunciations. Remember that. That is so important to starting off our growth and our journey, adventure. And therefore, for renunciation is so important. That's what we discussed. Within the context of the Buddha's teaching, the first Buddha's teaching, Full Noble Truth, suffering truth, cause of suffering truth, and a path truth, and a cessation truths. We discussed. We went forward. We went footsteps of the mainstreams of the Buddhism, the great awakening practitioners, who follow that path and actualize their realizations, their understanding. The fulfillment is so rewarding. That's what they got, rewarding. We like to make our journey as rewarding, very rewarding, not as failures and disappointments. Therefore, to the strengthening of this for renunciation thought within the context of the Full Noble Truth, I mean, this is what it is. And that is so important. To follow in the path, then we started talking about highlight of the refuge. We discussed about refuge. And within that context, we discussed 8 noble paths. The gracious teacher, Buddha highlight 8 noble paths. When we follow the 8 noble paths, we are in the balance, perfect in balance, not extreme. As often this habitual, pathetic habitual pattern carries away and drag us in the ditch. If we follow with the 8 noble path, that is path of light, path of peace, path of joy, and path of very open and uplifting, encouragement. That is what the path. Within that, we followed as taking refuge. With that taking refuge, then we strengthen not just taking only refuge, but we are expanding our vision and goal to all the sentient beings. Highlight of such a beautiful attitude of the heart, opening our heart to all the very sentient beings, without any discriminations, without any territories, without a divide by the time and spaces, outreaching, heart feeling, the great unconditional love and compassion and wisdom combined together. Bodhicitta, that's what we discussed. That's what we discussed. With that beautiful contracts, with these beautiful foundations, then we developed the true visions of the Vajrayana teachings as great masters taught, as great masters Buddha Shakyamuni, Guru Padmasambhava, and Lingpa, and then Yingmi Lingpa, and as well as the Tsasum Lingpa or the Tumcho Dorji taught. And as well as great master, His Holiness Dzogchen Rinpoche, and great master Khenpo Tsewang Rinpoche. In their voice, in their presence, in their light, we went through. We didn't do any detours and carry away, distracting in different ways. We follow the mainstreams of the exact straightforward path to discover our inner natures. With that, we went again to develop the beautiful concentrations. Concentration is the foundation of everything. But at the time, we don't find all the great result as mentioned in the teaching, as great masters achieved, great practitioners are mentioned and they achieved, because we are like as kind of not enough concentration or lack of concentration. I spoke extensively about how we should be prepared and make firm of our good concentrations. Our good concentration. We all need concentrations. You need concentration. I need concentration. We all need concentration. We are within the S1 boat. We travel together as Sangha members. Therefore, we need concentration. Spoke about that quite extensively, detailedly, exactly as the great masters highlighted and pointed out. We follow that footsteps. With that understanding, then we went to the Vajrayana teachings. Vajrayana teachings, as he said, is within the context of the two stage practices. The creation stage practice of all this is divine mandala. Mandala of the Buddha. Mandala of the primordial Buddha. That Buddha we use as a stepping stones of the Guru Dragpo, the Pema Hero. But actually, that mandala is our mandala, your mandala. That's what we started, how to build up the total cosmos of the divine mandala. That's it what we discussed, how we start. That is what the Buddha taught. That was the Guru Padmasambhava taught. This is not mandala of the something individual, of the strange things from outside. We are pretending that. But we are the middle, center, and in center of that column, center of that focus. From there, we ignited, we developed the magical illusion, wisdom mandala. Mandala, the whole phenomena systems we develop as actually is our present time is duality mandalas for us. But to remove, to transcend this duality mandala, we went through the origin inherited, the mandala, how to invoke that power, that energy, that quality, form, sound, and space, everything. We went through that. Wonderful, very quite thoroughly and detailedly within the context of the Dzogchen status. It is all display of the primordial wisdoms, primordial awareness, origin status. Within that beauty, that richness, that openness, that is what we captured, what we behold in that. And with that, then we went and how to maintain to this such as to continue maintain the complete stage practices. Complete stages of the like as complete stage of the first stage with the dissolving of the dualities, and once duality dissolve, how to continually maintain it, how to continually maintain the present state of the Dzogchen status or present status. That is what we discussed. Again, to do this, to maintain the present status as great masters, as the Dzogchen Tantras taught. We went through step by steps with beautiful concentrations. Beautiful concentrations, beautiful kind of turning point of the habit patterns, and the beautiful knocking out or the transcendenting of the each of the habit points. Habit point of the 6 realms with the syllables, with concentration, with mantras. We went one after another, step by steps. Again, went exactly. It is concentrated practices. It is knocking up the habit pattern or transcending the habit patterns, instantly waking up to our original nature status, shaking up the deep of the samsaras, and it is the practice of the bodhicattas. It's all that beautiful package of the practice combined together as known as Kondirashi practice. That was we discussed. With this understanding, then we want one after another again, specifically related with our current situation of the body, current situation of the speech or voice, and current situation of our mind. Again, as the teaching mentioned, one after another, we went how to transcend our physical habit pattern or notion of the clinging attachment to the habit pattern of the body and the speech and the mind, and then release all that in the absolute state of the primordial nature states, and then relax in that status without changing, without altering anything, relaxing that freshness, original openness, the natural status, which is the Dzogchen teaching. That is, and relaxing that. That is what we've been discussing. So therefore, what we've been discussing, we discussed the whole path of the Buddha's teachings from the day one the Buddha gave at the Saranath, Deer Park, and that until age 81, whatever Buddha taught. On the open level, in the secret level, or the mystery level, or the very higher level, that all as valuable by the great masters, their gracious, they continue to maintain, and we will open that treasures. It is your treasures. It is not just Buddha's treasures. It is our treasure. We touch to that treasures in these 2 weeks. We went through that. And that was our practice, that was our teaching, and that's what we went through. So looking back, we pretty much covered quite good whole practices. Now is your time and our time. How are we going to apply that practices? That is what in your hand, in my hand, in our hand. This is not just saying something, reading text, and leave that. This will be our practices. How are we going to continue to carry? That is, we're going to look for the future. This is future, our plans. They started from now, right now to in the future. How are we going to maintain and upkeep these practices? That is our goal and our vision and our plans. And to do this, again, as the great masters mentioned, and I said that before too. And there is 5 points. Whether you do meditation, whether you do practices. I said that already, many of you already wrote. The first is laziness. Laziness. that whether you are going to practice the chanting, whether you are going to meditate silence. Generally, in the Vajrayana teaching, chanting is meditation. Chanting is meditation. And we stay our mind with that chant, the meaning of that chant, or with that song. That itself is meditation. You are abiding with where you are focused. And then, not just only abiding in one kind of solid stuff, you open the whole mandala in the Vajrayana. The whole mandala, which is 3 Vajra states. Vajra form, and Vajra speech, and Vajra song. That you're capturing in spontaneous at the same time. You're activating your hand within that state at the same time. So chanting is not just a distraction. Chanting is the meditation. Chanting is the practice. If we keep up that as teaching said. And therefore, whether we silence meditation or whether we are with chanting meditation, the first number one obstacle is laziness. Laziness. I'm not going to talk all the differences. I mentioned, Khenpo Rinpoche mentioned, and you must have heard also, in the book, and you heard from others. So the laziness is the number one obstacle. The second obstacle of the practices, meditation practices, is forgetting instructions, not remembering. Forget instructions. Even you are eager to practice, eager to carry, to activate it, might change. The forgetting instruction is the second obstacles. And third obstacle is, now you start the practices, you start meditating, but third obstacle will come during the meditation and during the practices. That is scattered mind, scattered wandering thoughts, daydreaming, lot of daydreams coming, and all those unnecessary things, moved from the cushion, moved from the body, moved from the heart, and you're carrying some completely different directions. And you're not on that cushion. You're not on these big practices. That is called scattered. And all that wandering. That is obstacles of the during, third obstacles, during the practices. And there is another obstacles during the practices. That is dullness, foggy, sleepy, and clarity, vitality, and density qualities again robbed with that dullness, that clarity, that fogginess, and that sleeping, it lost. And those are the obstacles of the during practices. Then there is another obstacle, which is known as then you're making too much effort, forceful. Make too much forceful, too much kind of intensely forceful during the practices, or to do practices. Again, there is another secondary obstacles. And the third is not applying at all any effort. Even you see, even you know, completely can't let that happen. Those are the obstacles of our growth of a practicing of the future from now onward. And that is what we should always thought. That's what all the great masters, the practitioners, experienced, Buddha said. Yeah. So remember those obstacles. And there's more details of those I'm sure what we mentioned in the books or the times, and you can highlight this. But those are, and then of course other books you can read. Those are principal hindrances and obstacles. So in our future practices, and the growth and the developments. So therefore, remember those things, and then the practices. When you finish the practices, your practice session is finished, and how we're going to take care of during the daytime. This is known as post-meditation times. Post-meditation time is for us is longer than the practice times. Ancient those great practitioners, practice is longer than the post-meditation. Those who have the difficulties. For us, the practice is so short, and not practice time is very long. Therefore, we have to stretch that energy of what you practice at a short time, stretch until the next time that you practice. In a way that this practice will be our multiple vitamins. That is multiple our tonics. That we are going to maintain that tonic all the way to the next that you start the practices. To upkeep that, how we do. That is known as mindfulness. Of course, again, this mindfulness, all that always necessary, always important. But mindfulness, the alertness, and consciousness. These three are the always important, and particularly during we are out of the practices. This. And what it will do, it will come back to our own natural status. It is reminding us, they will be continually see assistance for us, big support so that we can not lose the control. We not lost our string wheels. It will bring back us to the track, and the road. Therefore, mindfulness, alertness, consciousness is always important. That means you're going to remember of the practice and teachings. Practice, remember the teaching, remember the practices, remember of the great masters' legacy and their visions, and their advice. All that will bring, as it needed, as is required, record and bring up, make available that immediately, so that we won't lost our string wheels. And then perceiving all this together as with that, and then you have that, seeing all this as magicals, dream, mirage, and then performing the activity that which is benefiting to the others, to yourself, with joy, with respect, with appreciation, with calm, with peace, and move forward, and always encourage ourselves, and looking back to our activities and see, oh, I did good. I'm going to do better even now. The kind of every time set up the confirmation of the joy, appreciation, so on, all good activities that we perform. And we see something that out of that good activities, we should risk them the courage and commitment that next time I won't repeat. May the blessings of the Buddha and Guru Padmasambhava great masters, so that I will continue to stay on the righteousness status, so that I won't make too many mistakes. And pray that mistakes and hindrances we can make. We have the ignorance. It's not something unusual things happening. But we can acknowledge it and try to change. That is our responsibility. That is the identity of the practitioners. Not just a kind of like ignore it, and then again. Always that's about knowledge. Like purifications, forgiveness, excuse, and use those. And that will to the main practice of such as the various other practices, so forth. Cleansing, purifying, forgiving, let it go. We're not going to keep that shadow and that stain all the, but use as experience, use as knowledge, then continue to move forward. That is what known as then do all the beautiful activities. Activities of the body, activities of the speech, activity of the mind, and those are known as the 10 virtuous activities, but Great Master Vasubhendra taught, and Great also Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara taught, I mentioned before, but it's all good activities, do good things that are related with your, that reflecting your love and joy and devotions. And I said, other day I mentioned also Great Master Karmachami said, do circumambulance, do prostration, do service to the others that benefit, and help to those who are sick persons. If you can help it to them, according your capabilities, according readiness, and helping them. And those all known as virtuous activities of after the practices, or the post-meditation practices. So those are what is our future plans. Those are our future activities. And if we maintain that, then we're keeping good practices. And again, I'm going to highlight that. With this understanding, every time you practice, as Great Master Lingpa said, and Khenpo Rinpoche often take that. That is not just every Great Master said in human ages. First, this is the most important, is for renunciation, and bodhicitta, Dragpo, and bodhicitta. Those are the foundations. Second is then with that foundation, you're going to practice and meditate, that practice. At the end, then do the dedication, aspiration and dedication prayers. Those are the 3 noble ones. The first noble, middle noble, and ending noble. If we keep all with that practice, what I said already, it's all then comes perfectly as beautiful practice and following path of these great masters, a great teacher. And that is my brief talk and a reminding of this teaching. And now we're going to do that practice as we do always. And thank you everyone again.